All right, so this week we are talking about Google Calendar. It's a pretty powerful tool, something we don't use very much because we don't use Google Mail, and we tend to use the calendar application that goes with our mail. So a lot of you probably use the calendar app on your phone, or use Outlook, or you're basically using your Microsoft Calendar. But I want to show you Google Calendar not only for this class and for the test, but because even though you're not using it maybe actively, there are a lot of great features. And it's still something. We have a Google account for school, and so you have Google Calendar. You have everything but mail with our Google account for school, and so you can use this for a lot of purposes to connect with other people. Let's do a quick overview of the calendar site. First of all, you're seeing my calendar in month view. First thing I'm going to show you is that there are several different views. You can change this to week view. You can change this to agenda view, where you can get a big list of things. There's your schedule. You can change it to day view and view one day at a time. So whatever view you leave it as is what it will come back next time. You'll notice my calendar kind of shows me the month of April, and then it highlights the 30th. If I go on and start clicking and go somewhere else, if I click the word today, it takes me right back to today. So it's pretty easy to navigate around. It also has a search bar at the top of your calendar, so you can search for a specific event, and it will take you to those events on your calendar. Now, even though we don't actively use Google Calendar very much, what you might really like using Google Calendar for is to have shared calendars among multiple people. So you can see on the left-hand side, I have a ton of calendars because I've created all of the calendars we're using in our district to schedule computer labs and Chromebook carts. And these are shared calendars that people have added to their Google Calendar, and then they can turn them on and off by clicking these little colored squares to see who has those devices. Oh, let me pick one that's got some stuff on it. Let's go to the high school. So there's the main gym at the high school. And you can see all these little red things appear. I can add in, let's see what's going on in the board office today, in the West Conference Room. I can add in the blue events, and that's what's going on in the West Conference Room. So you turn calendars on and off on the left-hand side. And like I said, I have a ton of shared ones, but you can create other calendars as well. So this little plus sign here, which says add a coworker's calendar, this is a little deceptive because you actually just need this plus sign. It's not related to your coworker's calendar. But that's where you can add a new calendar. And by adding a new calendar, you're actually making one. So let's say you're coaching chess team and you want to make a calendar for the chess team because you plan to share this with parents, you plan to share it with students, and you want them to be able to see all of the events on it. I just type in the name, I can type in a description, and then I create my calendar. On the left-hand side, it should appear under my list of calendars. Give it a second. And then I have several little options for setting it up. So there it is. There's my chess team. The most important thing, of course, is the colors and that sort of thing. I'm going to go back because I'm in my settings here. Let's look for chess team. Here we go. There it is. And I have a little X to get rid of it, or I have 3 little dots where I can change the colors and do a couple of other options. We're not going to go really deep into the options of calendars here, but you can hit display this only, and that will take every other calendar off and only turn on the chess team. Or you can go to hide from list and get rid of it, or settings and sharing to change who it's shared with, which we'll get into a little bit later. So you can have as many calendars as you want. You can have as many calendars on at the same time as you want. So, if you're looking to schedule a lab and you need to see which Chromebook carts are available, you could actually turn on 3 calendars, 4 calendars, 5 calendars at once, and then take a look at where any open spaces are. So that's Google Calendar. It's pretty simple. There's always, and where we started was on my personal calendar. So this Whitney York calendar is my personal Google Calendar. Nobody else can see what's on that calendar unless I share it with them or unless I give them rights to that calendar. So that's my personal one. You want to leave that one alone. And like I said, you can add as many as you want for clubs or groups or other events. And then we'll talk about sharing those calendars in the next little part of the video. Right, so let's talk about sharing our calendar with other people, because this is really the point of Google Calendar. I'm going to go down and use my chess team calendar as an example. I'm going to hit my 3 little dots and go to settings and sharing. Pretty simple. Here are all the settings for this calendar. If I click on a different calendar, I get the same settings. So I'm going to go and I'm going to scroll down through these settings, and I'm going to start with the access permissions. just like Google Drive, we can share things with everybody. We can share them with specific people, or we can share them with people in our organization. So depending on your organization, you're going to see some different things, but let's start with the more specific thing and work our way back up. So if you want to share your calendar just with a specific person, for instance, I'm sharing this with my co-coach of the chess team, and I want this person to be able to make changes to the calendar and to manage sharing. I want her to be able to do things and share it with other people. I can add people in, and if I only want them to have specific access, I can say, you know what, I only want him to be able to see the details, but he can't change anything. So you can give those kind of granular rights to people. That's easy. Just like sharing a document or sharing anything else, you can add people and then share those settings. Now, if this is a calendar that's going to be viewed by other people outside in the world, your parents, other teachers, other people, and you don't want them to have to sign in, because this is a sign-in specific thing here, what you're going to have to do is make this calendar available to the public. So this is probably the most common thing you're going to do if you make a shared calendar and you want to put it out there. For example, if you have a calendar for a sport or a team or a club and you want to put that on a Google site and share it with everybody, you're going to make available to the public. It does give you a little warning saying your calendar is visible to the world, including Google search. But if you want everybody to see it, that's what you got to do. Now, you can change the two options here for public to only free and busy, or see all event details. You're probably going to do see all event details. This just shows that something's going on, but it doesn't show what. All right, so we're going to do see all event details, and this is where we get our link to send to other people. So you click get shareable link. We have this big long link. We copy it. Let's go see what that looks like in another person's account. So this is my personal account, and there's my chess team calendar, and it pops right up. Now, in order for me to see this on the left-hand side, I actually have to be logged in to a Google Calendar account. So we're talking people who are going to access this calendar all the time and who are going to be putting things on it. That's really more the sharing settings that I showed you first of typing that person's name in. They've got to be logged in. Even though I said make available to public and I hit get shareable link, when I view this without being logged in, I still am prompted to log in, because who are you? Like, we want to add this calendar for you, but we don't know who you are. So it still makes you log in. Now, there are a couple other ways to share it with people publicly so there's no login and they can just view it. Let me just show you that real quick. I'm going to go down and you'll see this integrate calendar set of settings. On different websites and different things that you can use the different links here to give to people to view your calendar. So first of all, this public URL to your calendar, let's test this one out and see what we get. There we go. There's the public link that I need to send to parents. There's a thing that they can keep going back to. It didn't make me log in. It didn't ask me for my password or anything like that. It is good to go. So that public link is the one you need to share. I find that a little bit confusing, but just so you know, it's this public link down here. Now, we also have the embed code. When you are creating a website or you're doing something where you want to post this calendar inside of something with code, you will see something that says embed code. So let's take a look at what that looks like in Google Sites. So I'm on my Google site and I'm going to put in embed my Google Calendar into this site. There are two ways to do this. We can click this little embed code here, and I can paste the embed code that I got from my Google Calendar in. But because I'm using Google Sites, there's actually an easier way. There is a Google Embed section here. I can click Calendar, and I can go let's find my chess team calendar. There it is. And I can insert it in. Now, what's really cool about this is right here within Google Sites, I can click on this little gear and I can change some of my settings. So I want my chess team parents to see the whole month at a time. I want them to be able to see every event. So I'm going to make this nice and big, and I can spread that calendar out. Now, anybody that comes to my Google site for my classroom or for my chess team can see the latest events. This is a live link to that Google Calendar. So this is the easiest way to share a calendar. Make sure that it's embedded or put somewhere else. Sharing a link with people is that public link that we were looking at, and that's really what you want, this public URL. You can make a bit.ly out of that, short link to send to parents, but that's how you share a calendar. Now let's talk about putting stuff on our calendar, because that's the real point of calendar here. We're going to click anywhere on a calendar to add an event. But a little trick, wherever view you are in will affect what your event looks like. For example, let's start in month view. And I'm going to turn my personal calendar off so I only have my chess team calendar on this one I'm working with. All right, chess team, we're going on a field trip on Thursday. When I click on Thursday, this event that comes up to be created is a complete day event. Now, I'm going to switch to week view. All right, Thursday, field trip starts at noon. When I click at noon, now I only get a 1 hour event. Now, of course, on either of these views, you can change these event dates and times. We're going to talk about that, but I just want to make you aware that depending on the view you're in, you get kind of a different look of events. Now, I really like month view because I like to operate in that whole picture view. So I'm going to stay here and I'm going to add my field trip on Thursday. So I'm going to say field trip, third graders only. Now, this isn't just all day. This is a specific time. So I'm going to click add time. A time slot pops in and I can go in and choose from 10 to 12. All right, and I'm going to click save. And now my event's created. You'll notice my event has a little dot, shows 10 a.m. When I click on it, I see a few more details. Now, I'm going to turn on my personal calendar because your personal calendar, whether you use it or not, is usually always on. And I want you to see what happens when I try to add another event. Now I want to add this to the chess team calendar, but when I click to add, it gave me a green event for my personal calendar. So you're gonna have to switch between what calendar you're using if you have multiple calendars. The easiest thing to do is make sure you're only working in one calendar. So to turn off your personal calendar, turn on the chess team calendar. That way you're only operating in that one calendar at the moment. However, if you forget and two calendars are on, when you go to create an event, simply click here and switch which calendar that you would like that event on. If you accidentally create an event and it's on the wrong calendar, you can always go back and hit edit. All right, so let's add another event, and this time I'm going to get a little bit more detailed. Now on Wednesday, we're going to have a Google Hangout meeting with a fellow chess team coach at another school. So I'm going to say Google Hangout with Marshall chess team. Okay, I'm going to add my time. And we're going to do this after school, so we're going to do it at 3:30 to 4:30. Perfect. But I need a little bit more options with this Hangout. So I'm going to click more options and let's look at what we've got. I am not going to walk you through every little thing. Every option you possibly need is here. We can repeat our events here. If this is something that happens all the time, you can put it as a repeat. You could do a custom repeat, where this is a Wednesday, Thursday thing that happens 14 times and then it's done. Repeat is awesome. I can add a specific location. If this is going to be at Murray Middle School, this is using Google Maps here. I can click on Murray Middle School, address is popped in. I can add a notification for myself. This is for me and anybody else who has this calendar attached to their account. I want to know about 30 minutes ahead of time. Okay, I can also go down here and change the color of this specific event. So if on this calendar I use all the time, I want this event to be a different color, I can do that. This is the visibility for the event, shows whether I'm free or busy. That goes into sharing the calendar like what we talked about before. And then down here, I can add all kinds of details to the event. So I can say we are going to Google Hangout, not Skype, Google Hangout with this chess team from Marshall on this day. I can add attachments. And guess what? I can add those attachments right from my Google Drive. So if I've got, let's say, a PowerPoint that we're going to go over, I can attach that into the meeting. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is to creating an event. Now we're going to get into, in the very next video, using Google Hangouts and adding guests to your event, but that's all you need. You can go in and hit save. Your event is created. If you want to delete it, just click on it, hit the trash can. If you need to edit it, click the pencil, and that's all there is. It's pretty simple. You can also click this plus in the red corner to create an event kind of at random. It drops it right now on today. And that's another way to add an event, but we're going to get into sharing it with other people and using it with Hangouts here next. All right, so let's talk about using Google Calendar to invite other people to events, to schedule a Google Hangout, because this is a really cool way to use Google Calendar. Let's start with inviting somebody else. So I'm going to invite Austin Swain to this calendar. And I want to show you what happens when I invite somebody with a private calendar. So here, if you look at his calendar, he has it private, so I cannot see his calendar. If I click Find a Time, I'm going to be able to see what events Austin's got going on his calendar and pick out a specific time that will work for everybody. However, as I mentioned, his calendar is private, so I can't see anything. So let's add another calendar. I'm going to add Luke Carter's calendar. And her calendar does not give me that little asterisk. So when I go to find a time, if she had events on her calendar, I could actually go here and I could see when she was available to have this meeting. So I'm going to remove Austin from being a guest, and I'm going to leave Lou on, and I'm going to hit save. And when I do, she's going to get an email with an invite to this Google Calendar event. But I want to show you how to start a Google Hangout. You'll notice that this little Hangouts thing here is automatically there. It was there when I started this event. I have not messed with it. I have not changed it. It automatically turns on for me. If I didn't plan to do video conferencing, I could turn that off, but I'm going to leave it on. And you'll see right here, this is going to be the name of the conference. Now does not really matter because the two of us are the only two people who are going to join it, so we don't care what it's called necessarily. But I can rename it, and I can give it a specific name. All right, now I'm going to click Save. It's going to ask me if I want to send an invitation to the guests, so I'm going to send out that invitation. And I'm going to show you another trick here on Google Calendar, because in order for me to go into this Hangout and for you to actually see what the Google Hangout functions like, I need this event to be right now. So I'm going to click this event, and I'm going to drag it to today. And I have just changed the date of the event. I'm going to click Edit, and I'm going to change the time. So I actually want to make this happening at 11:30 a.m. and hit Save. All right, so now this Google Hangout is going on now. I'm going to click on the event, and I'm ready to start the Hangout. How do I do that? Really simple. Click Join Hangouts. A new tab is going to open. And my Hangout starts, and it lets me know that I am ready to join this call. I click Join, so do all the other people that I've invited, and now we're in a video conferencing call that all started on Google Calendar. So really easy to get thrown into Google Hangouts from Google Calendar. And in the next lesson, we're going to learn specifically about Google Hangouts, but just wanted to show this integration between Calendar and Hangouts because it's a great way to connect with other people. Even though we don't use our Google Calendar all the time for our personal stuff, you can still set up a Google Hangout with someone on Google Calendar ahead of time, or you can just start a Google Hangout. So it's just a really nice way to kind of have that set up ahead of time. So that's Google Calendar.